Adastra is a sci-fi political adventure with cosmic horror elements and gay romance intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Previously on Adastra.
Oh, wait. What? Are you serious?
Now he looks pissed, and I press myself harder against the wall, trying to work up the courage to make a break for the door.
How? Wait. So you're always offering me opinions on my mood, but you couldn't offer that?
Specks of light. I'm in a spaceship? Where the hell is he taking me? You kidnapped me, you left me in a closet, you're feeding me what looks like shit, and now you tell me you jabbed something into my brain?
Do you know what atoms are? Nuclear energy, maybe.
No.
Based on Nexus analysis on Earth, these statements appear to be misleading, Amicus.
Damn it. He's more sapient than any child I've known.
All is as it should be.
Cassius is probably going to figure it out right away. I know it.
And I swing.
Ah!
While binding his arms is a start, I have no doubt in my mind he'd be able to take me out with a few nasty kicks. 5 minutes later, and I have his legs bound together.
What the hell?
I clear my throat and swallow, trying not to show how nervous I am. Yeah, what the hell? You tased me again.
Oh, gods. I feel like I'm on fire. Did you use it at full power? What the hell is wrong with you?
Me? You did the same to me, then lied to me, then tased me again, then tied me up. You're crazy!
I would never use full power on anyone. Oh.
Tell me where the hell you're taking me and why. Otherwise, I will zap you again. He seems at a loss for words.
I can't tell you.
Well, I guess I'll just have to figure it out on my own then.
Don't touch anything! Hey, what are you doing?
Amicus huffs and puffs behind me, just as a circle appears and compresses around my finger, like it's zeroed in on something. I feel a soft vibration under my finger, not unlike my phone's haptic feedback.
Overriding sleep mode, locked onto Stella 556425.
No! Calm! Stop last directive!
Voice commands for piloting are reserved for the Emperor, Amicus.
Human, stop!
Amicus starts hopping toward me on his bound feet, and I scramble to the side so he doesn't run into me.
No!
The cabin is lit up by an ominous red glow. The windows suddenly tint, blocking the worst of the light, and that's when I'm able to see a massive ball of fire in front of the ship. The size of it's incredible.
Orbital trajectory will intersect with photosphere. Ensure safety straps are in place, making corrective maneuvers.
Move! Get in the seat!
Heat shields are compromised. Expect heat damage to outer layer of ship in 30 seconds.
Look at your right armrest. Do you see the green panel between the red buttons?
Through the shock, I'm somehow able to understand him and look down.
Now, drag your finger across it to the left. It'll steer the ship. Now see the lever in between us.
Yeah?
Pull it down.
Now reaching my hand out is almost impossible as it gets pulled back toward the star behind us. Gritting my teeth, I lean forward as hard as I can, practically throwing myself forward and grabbing onto the lever. Then gravity does the rest of the work, and the lever comes down hard. I lose my grip and get thrown back into my seat. The gravity increases twofold, and for a moment it feels like my entire body is being crushed into a pancake. And then the burning orange light is gone, and the deck goes black.
Running diagnostics. Amicus.
Yes, calm.
Damage to the ship is severe. Recovery mode is required.
Enter recovery mode.
Stand by.
Chapter 3. Welcome to Adastra. We sit in silence for a long, long time. I lean against the seat with both feet drawn up to my chest, feeling numb and shaky. I also feel stupid, embarrassed, and kind of guilty. On one hand, I nearly just got us both killed. But on the other hand, this crazy alien almost killed me by bringing me here in the first place. At least, it feels that way. I still don't know what his ultimate plan is with me. I wonder for the 100th time if I'm going to wake up. I plug my nose and try to breathe through my nostrils. No air comes through. I sigh and look out the window at the blue glow that we've found ourselves in. The star that we'd just escaped is far away now, though it's still an almost blinding tiny orb far to my left, kind of like the sun was not too long ago. It's lighting up all this dust that's around us with an eerie blue glow. It's kind of calming. I look over at Amicus and see him slumped in his chair, looking out the window. His shoulders are hunched, ears drooping, and his head down. He's on the edge of his seat because his arms are still tied behind his back, forcing him to lean forward a bit. Com hasn't spoken since we went into recovery mode, and the ship hasn't moved at all. The usual hum isn't even there. It's like everything is turned off. I finally decide to break the silence. Amicus? I see his ears flick, but he keeps his head down, not even looking at me. I swallow, then try again. Amicus. I see his shoulders rise and fall in a deep sigh, but he keeps silent. I'm about to just give up and slump back in my seat when he suddenly responds.
What?
What's happening? The wolf turns to glare at me.
What do you mean, what's happening? You broke the ship!
He turns away and continues to sulk. I feel a little anger at that, and I realize that this alien isn't alien at all. He's acting just like an upset human kid that didn't get his way. It makes me a little less afraid of him. Excuse me? Do I have to go through the list of shit that you did to me? Amicus turns to me again, and I can almost see his mind working to think of some sort of comeback.
Well, I think you topped it by nearly throwing us into a star, human!
You shouldn't have kidnapped me in the first place, wolf!
I should be calling you child since that's what you are.
Well, this child outsmarted you, zapped you, and tied you up. I see him bristle, the hackles rising on his shoulders like a dog.
You could have killed me! That setting is meant for creatures 3 times my size!
How was I supposed to know? I don't know anything about what's going on.
I told you what's going on!
You really think I'm that stupid, don't you? Amicus pouts and turns away again. I think you thought I was some stupid alien you could just take advantage of. I can tell you've been lying to me this whole time. Amicus flattens his ears even more, shoulders bunching up. Is that what you and your people do? Kidnapping and lying to everyone you meet? Now his hackles really raise up, and he turns on me fast. I try not to lean back. Despite the similarities, he's still a wolf, and those teeth are terrifying.
I do not lie!
The wolf's righteous indignation seems to deflate.
The situation is too complicated for you to understand.
I glare at him. Who's tied up again? Amicus doesn't take the bait this time and remains slumped.
I guess it doesn't matter now. We're probably going to die out here with how badly the ship is burned.
That makes my stomach twist a bit. I want to ask him if he's just moping or if he actually thinks we're going to die. But another long moment of silence stretches between us. I look out the window again at the towering clouds of dust in front of us. Well, if that's the case, then can you just tell me what's going on? Amicus goes on staring out his window. I sigh and lean back, resigned to the idea that I might not ever know why I was dragged out to space to simply get stuck and die in a dust cloud. Then Amicus speaks.
I made some mistakes.
I glance at him, waiting, not wanting to say anything in case he stops talking.
I didn't know your species wasn't part of the Galaxius. It's very illegal to make first contact without authorization from a parent.
Parent?
The authorities of the galaxy.
I frown and Amicus looks at the confusion on my face.
How can I put this simply? There are 3 levels in the Galaxius. At the very top are the parents. They arrived from beyond our galaxy to spread their culture here.
Amicus glances at me.
You know what a galaxy is? That there are others outside of your own? Yeah. Amicus lets out a breathy chuckle. Of course. I probably should have expected that. So you must know, then, that intergalactic travel is incredibly advanced, almost godlike, and that's what they are. Gods. There are 8 of them that are still present in our galaxy, though they rarely communicate with us these days. Then there are the siblings. That's what my species is a part of. The galaxy was scoped out by the parents at the very start to find the most intelligent and capable species. They each selected one, and we were the ones chosen and uplifted by the Romanos. The note of pride in Amicus's voice is obvious. From then on, it has been our mission to increase intelligence in promising species, and to teach them our philosophy and culture, to uplift. I try to make sense of that in terms I can understand. So, you spread their culture for the parents? They're like your gods, and your species are like missionaries? Amicus shrugs. Yeah, sort of like that. That doesn't sound so great, especially when I compare it to things that have happened on Earth. Mass galactic assimilation. So, why are they doing this? If they got here at the same time and did the same thing, does that mean they're working together? Amicus shakes his head. We don't really know all of the reasons for what the parents do, but we compete with the other siblings. But that brings me to the rest of the sapients in the galaxy, the children. The siblings uplift these children and bring them into our fold under the direction of our parents. Again, they haven't told us exactly what's going on, but we came to the conclusion that it's some sort of competition, and we mean to win for our parents. So, I'm a child? Well, no, not really. I've been calling you that, but you're not part of the Galaxius, and that's where I've made my mistake. Like I said, it was illegal for me to contact you, but I didn't know. How did you not know that? Shouldn't you have a record of this type of stuff? That's the confusing part to me. I found Earth in the library, so there was a record of it, but there wasn't much. Just a few footnotes about a sapient species there. But because that record exists, I know that your species was uplifted to child status at some point. In Rome? Presumably, but sometimes the species is unable to be uplifted for different reasons. Too aggressive, too docile, too unintelligent. Amicus glances at me. I thought this is what happened to your species. Then, if we've been uplifted, doesn't that mean that you've already made first contact? Yes, but you're still not part of the Galaxius. That's why I made the mistake. You should know about it, but you don't. Knowledge of other intelligent life is sacred, and for whatever reason your species lost it. So it doesn't matter that we've made contact before. If the knowledge of the Galaxius has been lost, then any form of communication between us is first contact all over again. And while uplift has been cancelled with species in the past, we don't completely cut off contact. They're permanently part of the Galaxius. I've never heard of something like this happening before, so I panicked. Calm, Amicus glances at the ceiling. Wasn't able to tell me that until we connected to your nexus. Nexus? Another word that doesn't translate. Like, the technology that connects places, people, information. The internet? If that's your word for it. So, I try to understand everything I'm being told. Why didn't you just tell me all this before you kidnapped me, or knocked me out? I see Amicus's ears flatten, and he looks away, clearly ashamed. I don't know. I didn't fully understand the intelligence of your species yet. I thought I could just lead you to believe things. I don't say anything, and Amicus shifts uncomfortably. Leaving you on Earth after you saw me, you might have gone to the authorities on your planet with that knowledge which might have led to a monitor being alerted. Amicus answers my question before I can ask it. Monitors are basically the ears and eyes of the parents. They monitor the galaxy. And what happens if they're alerted? Amicus sighs deeply. I don't know. It hasn't happened in a long time, and I don't think anyone has ever broken this particular law. It's one of the most important laws we're supposed to follow. Knowing I'd broken it. Amicus pauses. Scared you? Amicus shakes his head but doesn't say anything. I try to piece all this together in my head. So, then you panicked and kidnapped me? It was either that or kill you, or leave you and hope for the best, but that was a risk that I felt I couldn't take at the time. Amicus seems to shrink in his seat. And I guess I just didn't want to tell you because I knew I'd disrupted your life in a terrible way. I thought I might be able to make you forget and want to stay with me if you saw my home. But why? Why did you do it in the first place? What do you want from me? Amicus looks at me for a long while, probably debating on how much to tell me. Then he turns away. I needed a pet. Excuse me? Amicus shrinks up even more in his chair. It's a very long story. I glare at the back of his head. Well, if we're going to be here a while, then I have time. Amicus goes on staring out the window. My father was the emperor. The throne was mine to take, but my brother has challenged me, so now we're both competing for it. Amicus looks at me out of the corner of his eye for my reaction. His expression tells me I should be impressed, but learning he might be an influential figure among his people doesn't really seem too crazy after the events of the past day or so. And getting a pet will help you how? My brother has one, a sibling species, which means that his pet is on the same level of the hierarchy as us. I frown. Oh, and that's unusual? Definitely. It shouldn't even be legal, but somehow he negotiated it. They signed a contract and everything. I shake my head. So what does having a pet do? Amicus shrugs. It's a good status symbol to have. The fact that my brother was able to obtain such a prestigious pet shows his skill at negotiation and has put me at a huge disadvantage. I needed to do something even more grand to impress my father's advisor. He's the one that will choose between us. By kidnapping me? Amicus growls. That wasn't part of the plan. I thought you'd know what I was, and be amazed that a wolf had come back to your species. I was going to make a deal with you, like my brother did with his pet. I wanted a sapient that no one had seen in a long time. So that's why I'm here. To be used as some pawn in some power struggle in some alien empire far away? So why can't you take me back? What if I promise not to say anything? I would take you back if I could. I realize now that that would have been the better option, but I can't. Why not? First of all, the ship might be damaged beyond repair. Secondly, there isn't enough power to get back. Earth was on the outer reaches of how far I could travel. I need the rest to return home. I managed to stop myself from telling the wolf that all of this is his fault and shouldn't be my problem at all. Well, can we get more power when we get to your home, then go back to Earth? No, it's a type of power that the parents produce. We're not able to harness it. Yet. So get more from them, from wherever you got the power in the first place. Amicus leans his head against the headrest. Our parents authorizes and distributes it, and for whatever reason, they stopped supplying it when we lost our emperor. I feel myself growing more and more frustrated. Then how the hell are you using it now? A moment of silence goes by. This was my father's ship. Only the emperor has constant access to the technology. I borrowed it to get to you. I glare at him. You mean you stole it? You know, you're pretty dishonest for someone who says they never lie. Another soft, rumbling growl from him. Times are desperate. Ask your dad to take me back then. If you didn't gather from earlier, he's dead, so no one has access to it right now. I'm just using up what was left. I stare at Amicus for a while, words failing me. Listen, I didn't want to do all those things I did to you. I'm protecting us both. I laugh. Oh, really? Yes, I was planning to bring you to the palace to live a good life and forget your old one. Then, when you started asking those questions, I realized your intelligence is much higher than I thought it would be. Then Calm thought you might attack me. I made mistakes. Amicus lets out another huge sigh and slumps in the seat, looking away. Several minutes go by in silence, both of us staring out into the eerie blue. So what now? What are your plans? Amicus is the one to laugh this time. Get out of these bonds if you'd let me. I look at him incredulously. Amicus sighs. Listen, you have no idea how to handle this ship. I can at least run diagnostics to see what we can do about this. What's to stop you from knocking me out again? If you don't attack me or hit me with the Nervo again, then I won't have to. I look to my left armrest and pick up the little taser device. This? Amicus eyes it uneasily. Yeah. How can I trust you after everything that's happened? I give you my word. I frown. And you could go back on it just as easily. I would never do that. I don't make promises lightly, Marco. Amicus is so indignant that I actually believe him. Or he's just a really good actor. Either way, I'm going to have to let him go at some point, especially if we really can't get back to Earth. So I make my decision. If I let you go, you have to find a way to get me back to Earth. Amicus thinks for a moment. I can do that if I become Emperor. And how long will that take? Amicus shrugs. A few months if all goes well. With your help, it could be even faster. You're very clever. More intelligent than some wolves I know, even. Months? My parents are probably freaking out by now. School starts in a few weeks. All of these things seem so distant now. Amicus frowns. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. I need to be an emperor to even talk to the parents. I think, but again I don't have many options. I look Amicus in the eye. You promise? You have my word. For a moment I sit there, contemplating. Then I sit up straight. All right, stand up. Amicus perks up, then hops to his bound feet, almost falling over. I'm sure to place the Nervo close by behind me, just in case. A few minutes later, the wolf is free. We both regard each other warily for a few moments before Amicus finally sighs. Listen, I have no reason to incapacitate you now that you know everything. But if it makes you feel better, you can hang on to the Nervo until we get to Adastra. That a fair exchange? I look back at the little device. While I have little reason to trust Amicus, the wolf has virtually no reason to trust me. I consider it, then shake my head. Can we put it away somewhere? I'd rather just not be thinking about it. Amicus looks at me in surprise, then rubs his stomach where I jabbed him. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a deal to me. Amicus holds out a paw, and I look down at the thick black pads on his fingers and palm before picking up the Nervo and handing it to him carefully. For a moment I imagine him immediately turning the thing around and jabbing it into my face. But instead, he turns and walks toward the back of the ship. I notice his stance is slightly bow-legged, and he adjusts himself a few times. That makes me feel a little guilty about fighting dirty earlier. But only a little. On his way, he sweeps up his cape in one fluid motion before wrapping it around his shoulders. Then he moves to the back wall and, sticking out a paw, he presses a panel and a small portion of the wall slides back, revealing another smaller room. From where I am, I can see what looks like a little cot and various cupboards. He opens one of these and places the Nervo inside before shutting it. He comes back out and notices me staring. That's my quarters. It's where I sleep. If you, need to urinate or whatever else you do, there's a toilet in there. I'm fine for now. I feel my stomach gurgle, something that it's been doing for a while now. I am a little hungry, though. Amicus raises a brow. You want to try it again? Sure. It's not the worst food I've ever had. The earthy smell translates into the taste, but there's a strange hint of sweetness to it, like chocolate, and that makes it a little more palatable. I can at least swallow it down without gagging, so that's good, I guess. Amicus has his own cup, though he's paying more attention to the panels than to his food. I may have been exaggerating a bit earlier. Damage appears to be minimal. We're actually lucky that you didn't lock onto something worse, like a pit. There was one very near that star. A pit? Amicus shrugs, waving his hand in the air as if brushing my question aside. A very strong gravitational singularity that sucks everything up around it. Like a black hole? Black hole? Like, its gravity is so powerful that even light gets pulled into it? That's why they're black. Amicus looks at me in surprise. Oh, you know what that is? Guess I should stop being surprised, honestly. You humans really are something. You basically uplifted yourselves. I shrug. We touched on it in my Astronomy 101 class. I don't know much about them. but the fact that your species found out about them in the first place. Anyway, Amicus presses a button before suddenly the hum of the ship comes back to life.
Systems back online.
And Amicus pulls the lever and suddenly the blue disappears and the windows are filled with warping stars again. I immediately look away, feeling the chocolate mud start to work its way up my throat. We were actually almost to Adastra when you took control. Amicus rubs the side of his neck, wincing as he stretches it out. Should be there fairly soon. What is this? I wave my hand at the window, not looking. The bending light? It's the stretch drive. Basically, space is being shortened ahead of us. Amicus puts his paws close together in front of himself. And stretched out behind us. Amicus stretches his paws out wide. I don't really know how it works. Only the parents can build this kind of tech, and it's the only way I could get to Earth. Or anywhere outside our star system, really. They even figured out a way to make time stand still around us when we travel. Otherwise, way too much time would have passed back home. I'm starting to get a picture of how powerful these parents actually are. Beings capable of warping space and time to their will. So, how much more time?
Arriving at Stella Vita.
And just like that, the stars become still again. Amicus grins. Welcome to Adastra, Marco. I look out the window and see a large, green and blue sphere shimmer below me. Beyond it, there's another globe, this one chalky and gray. A smaller and even brighter orb floats further to the right, its color almost pure white. Amicus points at the more Earth-like sphere. That specifically is Adastra. The planet to the left is Anchorus. There aren't many people there aside from miners. The smallest is Torque, another moon. I know you live on a planet, so Adastra might seem a bit small to you. I press a hand to the window and notice that it's ice cold. Oh, looks pretty big from here. Amicus leans over the console and starts touching at the screen.
Re-entry sequence engaged.
Go ahead and put your safety straps on. Re-entry is never comfortable in smaller ships. I hurriedly do as he says, sitting down and trying to figure out the seatbelt. Eventually, Amicus has to come over and help, showing me how the strap just feeds into a slot. This automatically pulls the strap tightly across my waist and chest. As Amicus gets in his own seat, we start to curve around to the darker side of Adastra. Every now and then there's a bit of a downward tug on my stomach, sort of like when the passenger jet I was in was landing in Rome. I had imagined the things would rattle around, along with a bunch of fire and heat like in a Hollywood movie. Instead, there's only a rumbling sound that accompanies a gentle vibration through the seat. There isn't any fire, but I do start to see blue flashes on the otherwise black windows. I look over at Amicus and see that he's got his eyes closed, looking relaxed. The wolf opens his eyes and smiles gently at me. Don't worry, this is all normal. I realize how nervous I must look, so I nod and lean my head back in the seat. The electric blue flashes stop after a while, and then I feel one final downward pull on my body before the rumbling fades out. We sit in complete silence and darkness for a moment before I hear Amicus moving next to me. Okay, we're in the hangar right now. Just follow me into the palace. Amicus gets up, but the ship stays dark. So does the hangar. Okay, why aren't there any lights? Everybody's probably asleep. I don't want to wake them up. I get the feeling that he just doesn't want anyone to catch us, but I don't say anything. I fiddle with my seatbelt, unable to get it undone until I feel Amicus lean over me, breathing in my ear as his large paw covers mine, pressing something that releases the strap. I stand up, feeling around blindly as I hold onto the seat, only barely able to make out the red bristles of the headrest in front of me. I reach out a hand. Hey! Amicus's rough paw pads envelope my hand. What's wrong? I can't see anything. Oh, can you not see in low light? Amicus starts pulling me along before I hear a soft beep, then a whooshing sound. Not really. Another sound catches my attention. Crickets. They have crickets here too? At the same time, I'm hit by a wall of humid warmth, almost like walking into a sauna. Amicus puts a paw against my chest. Wait a second. Then I hear a soft thud followed by a grunt. Hello? Lean down. My eyes have adjusted a bit more to the dark, and I'm barely able to make out what I think are paws reaching up toward me. I crouch down and Amicus grabs me under the arms before pulling me clumsily off the deck of the ship. My face mashes up against his furry chest before I'm set down on my feet. All right, so we're just going to go straight to my room. Try not to make too much noise. I start to nod, but Amicus is already pulling me along. The humidity presses down on me like a physical force, and I start to worry that I might actually have trouble surviving on this moon. It's really hot. Things will cool off once we're inside. I can hear him panting heavily as we move through the hangar. I still can't see much, just angular shapes in the darkness, but finally I see some light ahead along with some cold air. We turn a corner, and I have to blink against how bright it suddenly becomes. I look around at the pillars and marble floor, the bright lights above me, and what looks like a garden complete with statues extending out through the archways. Well, at least I know Amicus wasn't lying about living in a palace. What do you think? Wow, I mean, it looks really cool, really expensive. I don't know if that last part was such a great compliment, but Amicus seems happy. Thanks. It's going to be your home for a while, so I'm glad you like it. Amicus adjusts his cape, fanning it out a little. This is only a small portion of the palace, of course. I'll show you around later, but for now I want to go to my room and dry out a little. I must look like a mess right now. The humidity doesn't do my fur any favors. I can tell Amicus is genuinely embarrassed, even if he's trying to joke, so I put a hand up to my hair. I have a little less to worry about, but I'm sure my hair is pretty crazy right now. True. That patch of fur really is something, though. The wolf reaches out and touches my hair, rubbing it between the pads on his fingers. We've made physical contact several times over the last day, but this is the first time that it really feels friendly. We stand there for a moment, just long enough for things to get awkward. Amicus pulls his hand back suddenly, as if realizing what he's doing. He's saved from having to think of something to say as we both hear footsteps coming up the hall to our right. Shit! What? Hide and be quiet. Amicus whispers loudly at me and suddenly pushes me hard back to the way we came. I stumble before scrambling around the corner. The footsteps get louder as I stand up and press my back against the wall, listening. Amicus! I jump, the person almost shouting Amicus's name. Cassius. Amicus's deeper voice responds, sounding cool and collected. Where the hell have you been? His voice is higher pitched and a little more articulate than Amicus's. I start to look around the corner, then hesitate. Then I do it anyway, wanting to see who this person is. Luckily, Amicus has moved further down the room, so that I'm slightly behind this Cassius guy. I see a white wolf, quite a bit smaller compared to Amicus, but no less intimidating. Maybe even more so. I can tell by his demeanor that he's probably not a fun person to be around. I was out hunting. Is something wrong? Hunting? For 2 days? Is that a joke? Was it that long? Yes! You were supposed to make a speech in Lux yesterday. How many times did we remind you of it? Cassius suddenly takes a deep breath. Really, Amicus, you seem to expect everyone to cover up your mistakes. I can't comprehend how you could have forgotten. I lost track of time. That's not an excuse. How do you expect to become emperor if you act this way? Amicus growls. Don't even pretend, Cass. You're probably happy I missed it. That's ridiculous. Amicus, I only want what's best for the Empire. Amicus opens his mouth, then shuts it suddenly. No, I'm not doing this tonight. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Cassius quietly regards Amicus for a moment, then shakes his head. Well, Virginia went in your stead, so you have her to thank when she returns. She's better at that sort of thing anyway. The point was to show Lux that the next possible emperor stands in solidarity with them. Sending your sister is not a good look. Well, walking around in undergarments doesn't look good either. You think that's how an emperor should behave? No one's awake, Amicus. Don't be such a pup. I'm just saying you look really small without your armor. Now that is not a good look for an emperor. Excuse me? What? I only want what's best for the Empire, and a little runt like you definitely isn't. They stare at each other for a long time, and though I have no idea what's going on, I can almost see the electricity arcing between them. Finally, Cassius turns on his heels and stalks away, tail swishing furiously. "Good night, Amicus." Amicus stands there for a moment, still puffed out a little before he finally deflates.
Damn it!
I stand quietly around the corner, waiting for Amicus to call me back. When he doesn't, I whisper at him. "Amicus?" His ears prick up and he turns to me.
Hey, come on. We should go before anyone else decides to show up.
"Oh, okay." I can tell by the way the wolf walks, his ears slightly down, his tail almost dragging, that he's not in a good mood. "You alright?"
Yeah, I'm fine. My brother just knows how to irritate me, and I shouldn't have said that to him.
We quietly walk through the marble halls, the echoing of our footsteps the only sound. Is he not supposed to see me?
I just need to think of the right way to introduce you. Now isn't the best time.
Is he the one that challenged you for the throne? Amicus is quiet for a moment before heaving a huge sigh.
Yes, and he's really starting to turn my life upside down because of it. Sometimes I think he just sees this all as a game.
We come to a stop at what looks like a door. It's completely smooth, though, made of what looks like marble. Amicus doesn't make any move to open it.
And you know, he never seemed concerned for me and my duties until after he made his challenge. That's what bothers me the most, knowing that it's all an act.
I guess you're not really close with him then?
Not since we were pups, no.
A disturbing thought suddenly hits me. Well, you know in Earth's ancient Rome, the place where you guys uplifted, people would kill each other over the throne, like, a lot. Does that happen here? Amicus frowns.
I suppose it's happened in the past, but that was a long time ago. Besides, Cassius would never do something like that.
Amicus sticks out his paw and presses it to a black square on the wall. The door slides open without a sound. I feel a rush of cool air come out of the room, and Amicus lets out a happy sigh as he steps inside.
That's much better. My dad's advisor keeps the climate way too hot in the rest of the palace.
I follow the wolf inside and look around. Aside from a few quirks, the room looks like it could have come straight out of any luxury hotel on Earth. Amicus sits heavily on the bed, making it squeak. He starts to strip off his clothing.
Toilet and bath are in there.
He nods ahead at another door across from the bed. Then he jabs a thumb back at the large curtain.
That's the balcony if you want to get some air, though I don't know why you would in this weather.
Then he points at the couch.
And that can be where you sleep, if that's all right with you. I've known other aliens to prefer the floor, though.
The couch is fine. I walk over to the red sofa, sizing it up. It's more than big enough, but as I pick up the little black pillow, I notice it's covered in fur. I inconspicuously pick some of it off before a light blanket smacks into the back of my head.
Haha, there you go. Is that all okay?
Yeah, this is good. I hope the blanket will be enough to keep off the cold that seems to be wafting down from the ceiling.
Good. Like I said earlier, I'll show you the rest of the palace tomorrow. We'll get some real food, too.
Amicus sprawls back on the bed, not bothering to draw up any blankets, his eyes closed. I actually want real food now, but I don't say anything and instead lay down, the sofa a bit harder than I had expected. Good support, I guess. As I'm settling in, I think Amicus has already fallen asleep, but that's when he speaks again.
And thanks, Marco.
I don't know what he's thanking me for. For not killing him on the ship? For agreeing to help him become emperor? For the way I took this shitty sofa and flimsy blanket without complaint? I'm not sure, so all I say is, sure. Then I hear the wolf snoring softly, and the lights suddenly dim down until they're off. I lay there a while, though I'm not sure for how long. In fact, time seems to have lost all meaning since I was abducted. Amicus's brothers said it had been 2 days, but didn't Amicus say that time freezes when traveling in the stretch drive? Had we really spent that much time idling around? I need to stop thinking about everything that doesn't make sense, because that's basically everything. I just need to help this wolf so I can get the hell back home. Then I can pick apart everything I've been through all I want. For now, I just need to help things move along as smoothly as possible. With that thought in my head, and with the soft sounds of Amicus's gentle snoring, I'm lulled into a light and troubled sleep. The dream I have is strange. I'm in a black void of some kind, and despite the emptiness, I have some sort of purpose. I don't know what that is, but I'm being driven towards it. It's not a good dream. It's a borderline nightmare. The empty void isn't the scary part, though. It's the feeling that I'm being watched by someone. Or something. It's the feeling that I have no say in where I'm going. No choice at all.
I'm very curious about you.
What?
I'm limited what I can ask, but I will start with this. What is death to you?
Oblivion.
I see.